My TNA Against All Odds 2009 pay-per-view review. The opening matchup was Shelley versus Eric Young for the TNA X Division title. It was a pretty solid opener, good back and forth action. It was a good match to start the pay-per-view off. The crowd was really into it. I gotta say the one thing, like, even though I'm gonna start off already saying this pay-per-view wasn't very good, this would be a pay-per-view I definitely will not recommend. I think the X Division match and probably the tag team title match was the only thing pretty good on here, and those weren't, excellent. They were just pretty, solid matches. And this was, solid match, good back and forth action. One good spot in this match saw Eric Young was about to go for his wheelbarrow maneuver to Shelley. Shelley basically grabbed the ropes. He got out of it, reversed it, and hit the slice spread number 2. That was a very good spot. Eric Young kicks out of that. And then at one other point, you see them both on the top rope. Eric Young's again going for that wheelbarrow maneuver off the top rope. And then Shelley reverses out of that, hits a bulldog from the top rope. And the only thing that hurts this match is pretty much the way the match ends. The match ends via a roll-up. Now, I know the Shelley versus Chris Sabin match from TNA Genesis from last month, that match ended in a roll-up, but it ended in a roll-up where it made sense. Back then it was, two allies, friends taking on each other, and Shelley pretty much basically one-upped him. In this sense right here, it didn't make any sense ending the match via a roll-up. It should have just ended with, either Eric Young tapping out of, or Eric Young getting hit with the slice spread number 2. Would have made a whole lot better ending of a match if it would have ended like that, especially if it would have ended in that very good spot they did right before the top rope bulldog. And just solid match, 3 stars. Then the next matchup was Petey Williams versus Scott Steiner. This is a match I wasn't really looking forward to. I would say at best this match was watchable. Wasn't a terrible match, but wasn't very good. What this match was pretty much at the beginning, during most of the match, Steiner was pretty much dominating Petey Williams like you would expect. Petey did get in some offense, but I think they did it in a way where, obviously you couldn't have Petey Williams go out here and have, complete offense and dominating Steiner. You couldn't do that. You had to have him kind of do the underdog role, but I think they kind of booked it in a way where I don't know if they meant to, but they kind of almost buried Petey Williams in this match a little bit. And Steiner actually wins this match pulling out a maneuver he hasn't used in God knows how long. He wins with the spike pile driver to Petey Williams, and I would say about a 2 1/4 star match. Solid match. Then the next matchup was the Brutus Magnus Open Challenge, and actually the person that accepted it was Chris Sabin, and this didn't really make any sense. This is what they probably should have done with this pay-per-view. They should have switched the roles with Eric Young and Chris Sabin. You should have had, maybe another match with Shelley and Sabin on this pay-per-view, and then just throw Eric Young in this match against Brutus Magnus, because I don't think anyone really matter if he goes out there, does pretty much a squash match, and, pretty much has to showcase this guy pretty much, and that's what it was. Brutus Magnus, not that good of a wrestler. He seems like, like a Matt Morgan, but I got to retract my statement I said in my predictions video. I actually thought maybe he possibly could have been, a step up for Matt Morgan, but oh no, he definitely is not. He is a terrible performer, and what the hell is TNA thinking about doing with him, having him come out there and looking like a Babylon Warrior? I mean, what is TNA now having a character that's going to be portraying the character from 300 or something like that? I mean, come on, TNA. Stop these dumbass gimmicks or anything like that. It just looks idiotic, him coming out there like that. It doesn't look anything good at all, and he's not terrible on the mic, but not that great either. Sabin made this match as good as what it probably could have been. He tried his best to make this guy look pretty good, and that's basically the reason why I'm probably giving this match, 2 stars, is because Sabin actually tried to make this match, better than what it probably could have been. And Brutus Magnus wins with, don't know the name of the maneuver, but it's kind of like, I would say, modified F5 into a Samoan drop, where he pretty much, instead of, letting go and throwing the person like the F5 does, pretty much staying a hold of him and kind of dropping him in a Samoan drop fashion like that. And like I said, 2-star match. Wasn't terrible, but this guy, hopefully TNA will learn that no one wants to see this guy, and I would much rather see Matt Morgan get a push than him, and I'm not even a fan of Matt Morgan. Then the next matchup was the ODB versus Amazing Kong TNA Knockouts title match. And like you would expect, this match was pretty short. It didn't go that long due to the fact of Amazing Kong having an injury. So you pretty much had to just do whatever you could in this match. You did have ODB, look like she possibly could have won. Wasn't that many false finishes, which I would maybe expected at least a few where it would have looked like ODB would have maybe won. You saw her body slam Amazing Kong. Then Amazing Kong finally wins with the implant buster to ODB, and I'll say about another 2-star match. Then the next matchup was the Booker T versus Shane Sewell TNA Legends title match. And God, this match was utter shit. Terrible from start to finish. This match would have even been probably terrible on free TV. That's how bad it was. Nothing good at all. Pretty much everyone expected this match to be a dud. And Booker T does win. The way the match ends is Shane Sewell is close to the ring apron. Sharmell grabs him, trips him, then Booker T hits the axe kick to Shane Sewell. And then after the match, Booker T gets on the mic and pretty much berates Shane Sewell. Then AJ Styles comes out here. You see them go back and forth in the ring, brawl with each other. Then AJ Styles throws him over. Then AJ Styles is still in the ring, gets on the mic, and the Legends title is still in the ring as well. Picks that up, puts it on his shoulders, and pretty much is calling Booker T out. And I guess next month at Destination X, we're going to get a Booker T versus AJ Styles Legends title match, which seems very stupid to have AJ Styles pretty much be looking like he would have been the next world champion. Now he's, contending or going for the Legends title. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all, booking-wise or anything. I mean, it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And on the Shane Sewell and Booker T match, I give that 1 star at best. That's probably even giving it a little more credit than what it actually should get. Then the next matchup was Matt Morgan versus Abyss. This was a match, before TNA Impact on Thursday. This match I wasn't looking forward to at all, but after what the TNA did on Impact Thursday with pretty much Abyss going back to his old self in the promo he did, and pretty much with the glass and thumbtacks, beating him, punching down on the thumbtacks and glass, and his hands, bleeding profusely. Definitely, made it a little, made this match seem a little more than what it probably was going to be at first. And this match, I was looking forward to a little. I was actually thinking this match was going to be a little better than what it was. What you got was pretty much, just a, a little average, maybe you could call it an above average match here with Abyss and Matt Morgan. You saw them at the beginning kind of brawl through the crowd, so the ref was a little lenient in this match. Then obviously you saw a ref bump in here. At that point, I thought you might have got, chairs, tables, maybe him using thumbtacks on Matt Morgan, but Matt Morgan was suffering from an injury in this match, so that probably stopped doing that, and save that for Destination X, or save that for Lockdown, because I know pretty much this feud will probably go all the way to Lockdown. They'll probably have a match next month, probably like a street fight match, and Abyss wins this match after hitting 2 black hole slams to Matt Morgan. Pretty okay match, 2.5 stars. Like I said, pretty average match. Maybe you call it above average. But I thought maybe it could have been a little better if they got a little more weapons involved, but I guess they're going to save that actually for the stipulation match, which I think is pretty much kind of a good thing for them to do, save it for that match where it would make more sense and look better and make the match probably better than what it would be next month. Then the next matchup was definitely the match of the night, and that was Jay Lethal and Consequences Creed, Lethal Consequences versus Beer Money Incorporated of James Storm and Robert Roode. This was a very good tag team match. You saw a lot of good back and forth work from both teams. You saw Beer Money Incorporated do a lot of back and forth tags. Pretty much putting one of their either Jay Lethal or Consequences Creed, pretty much having them in their corner and going back and forth tagging them, and just a pretty solid tag team match. I did enjoy this match. Definitely one of the matches. This and the X Division title match was probably the only thing on here that I would say was good matches, but they weren't even great matches. That was the one thing. But you saw a good tag team match. Saw like comedy spots in there. They did the typical thing where they did the spot where Robert Roode and James Storm, get in the 69 position, and then their reaction to it after it. That's pretty good comical stuff they always do there. They've done that with Robert Roode and James Storm, pretty much dating back all the way to, I guess, AMW and Team Canada's feud. That's how long they've been doing those type of spots. And, pretty comical stuff. Jay Lethal, Consequences Free got in some good offense. Beer Money Incorporated do retain the titles. End of this match comes where Jacqueline's out of the ring. I think she hands James Storm a chain. He wraps around his hand, and then pretty much knocks out Consequences Creed. Then Robert Roode pins him. So Beer Money Incorporated do retain the TNA Tag Team titles. Definitely the best match of the night. Pretty good tag team match. Then the main event was for the TNA World Heavyweight title in a 4-way match with defending champion Sting versus Kurt Angle versus Team 3D members Brother Ray and Brother Devon. And just like you'd expect, this match wasn't very good at all. Now, it was maybe a little better than what I thought it was going to be, but it still wasn't that good. TNA really needs to come out here and try to put on actually a good pay-per-view main event, because the TNA Genesis main event was terrible. I know the Final Resolution main event was terrible, and the I think Turning Point they did AJ Styles and Sting, which that was actually a good main event for a pay-per-view. It just had a very TNA-esque type ending with Vince Russo doing some dumb booking there that kind of hurt that match. And they haven't really had a good, great main event on TNA pay-per-view in God knows how long. Hopefully, maybe at the Lockdown pay-per-view you'll get, a good War Game style match between the Main Event Mafia and Frontline. And within this match, not really much to talk about. I mean, they did one thing where the Team 3D of Brother Ray and Brother Devon kind of were about to do kind of the cheap thing and lay down for each other and have one of them win the world title, and then they kind of came to their senses, didn't do that, didn't want to actually fight each other. So you saw them go back and forth, exchange punches with each other, and then Sting just retains the title. Nothing really much to talk about with this main event. At best, 2 1/4 stars I would give it. It's main event, nothing really happened. And then for some reason after the match, Foley was out there. He was on commentating, and he came in the ring, handed the title to Sting. So I don't know if you're going to get maybe Sting versus Cactus Jack / Mick Foley at the next TNA pay-per-view, because obviously with this pay-per-view you got Samoa Joe versus Steiner. Next month, I forgot to mention, after Steiner's match, Joe gets on there, calls him out, pretty much challenges him to next month. So you got Joe and Steiner next month, obviously AJ and Booker. So those are your two guys you could say could, main event and win the TNA title from Sting. So I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously you're not going to want to see one of the Team 3D members a singles match for the world title. So maybe have Mick Foley and Sting kind of, be their first time taking on each other in God knows how long, and kind of be interesting to see at least. Wouldn't be anything I think that would be great, but it would definitely be a step up from some of these recent TNA pay-per-view main events, I would say. And overall, I'll give this pay-per-view about a 5.75. It wasn't a good pay-per-view. It was pretty. I wouldn't really classify it. What I would say about this pay-per-view, it wasn't a good pay-per-view. I know I'm giving it a 5.75. Pretty much anything from a 5 to 6 always, says it's terrible. But saw 2 actually okay matches on here, which nothing I would say is worth really going out your way to see here. This was just, just a bad pay-per-view overall. But it wasn't like, a Hard Justice 2007 or December 2 Dismember where you would classify it as, the worst pay-per-view of all time. It's nothing like that. It was just, not a good pay-per-view. That's what I would classify it as. And TNA really needs to step their game up with their pay-per-views, because they haven't had a good pay-per-view in a pretty little while. Bound for Glory was pretty okay. Then, Turning Point was their start of these bad pay-per-views. And, Turning Point wasn't that good. Final Resolution was terrible. Genesis had 2 great matches that kind of saved that event. Then this pay-per-view really didn't have much. Now, that's the end of my TNA Against All Odds 2009 pay-per-view review. Now I just want to throw out one thing, because I know so many people have been giving their thoughts about the whole Chris Jericho incident where at a house show in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, he They did something happen where fans pretty much bombarded his car, surrounded it. Then he tried to get out of the car, basically telling the fans to get out of their way. Then some fans went as far as trying to either grab him or maybe even throw a punch. And what he did was, I guess one female fan tried to grab him or something, and he hit her. Now, most people are saying, "Oh, well, he shouldn't have hit a woman." Well, she pretty much started it, and she pretty much asked for it. So, in that case, Jericho was in the right here. He was just out here to protect himself, to defend himself. And the security just was fucking god-awful here. But I've heard, several times in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, I've definitely heard this several times that the security there has always been very terrible, so it really doesn't come to shock that the security was that terrible. And I guess the way it was, and at first, a lot of the security thought it was, just they work, thought it was just some type of angle WWE was shooting or something, and obviously, it didn't. Now, if I was Vince McMahon, the thing I would do is definitely capitalize this on tonight's Monday Night Raw, have Jericho mention it, and even have him go as far as saying, if any fans try to get in my way again, I'll just do this to you. Pretty much, even hyping him up more as a great heel. I think that would be a very good thing they could bank off of it with. And knowing Vince McMahon, it will not shock me if they try to do something like that. And I think it'd be an okay thing for them to do, because obviously, in the video footage, it wasn't like, Jericho started and Jericho just punched a fan for no reason. Jericho was just defending himself. So he was all in the right. And, some fans are just fucking stupid. I mean, I don't understand why any fans would go as far as, trying to attack a wrestler, attack a celebrity, or do anything like that. I mean, it's just fucking stupid. And obviously, with this, I guess the female fan is trying to file, I guess, a lawsuit against Chris Jericho, which with the video footage is obviously going to not get her any money. And I think, sometimes with this, and especially this, it wouldn't shock me if the fans that try to get involved, especially this female fan, try to get involved and did this because she knew she would provoke Chris Jericho and knew that what Chris Jericho might do, or at least try to do, and then try to get some money out of it. I mean, too many people try stuff like that, and that's what I could see the fan here trying to do. And just wanted to get my thoughts out on that, get my thoughts out on the TNA Against All Odds pay-per-view, and just, like I said, that's pay-per-view I wouldn't recommend. I would definitely stay clear of it. If you do check anything out, check the X Division title match and the tag team title match. And yeah, that's it. Peace.